Welcome to School 46 Parent Video Series. This month we are going to be talking about facing trauma and building resiliency. This will be part one of a two-part series. Today we'd like to welcome Miss Debbie Miller, who is our school social worker. She's going to be sharing with us some valuable information about what is trauma, how do we face it, and what do we do here at school to build resiliency.
Hello, this is Debbie Miller, and I'm happy to be able to talk about this important topic of trauma and resiliency. The definition of trauma is an exceptional experience in which powerful and dangerous events overwhelm a person's capacity to cope. Adversity early in life is commonplace. At least 1 in 3 of us grow up with 3 or more powerful disruptive risks to our development. Trauma affects brain development, the quality of our relationships, and our ability to manage ourselves. Some examples of trauma may be serious illness, house fire, community violence, and a loss of a loved one.
This is the Adverse Childhood Experience Pyramid. It is used often as a reference point, and it does show the higher the level of risk and trauma, the more impact it has on your life, from social, emotional, cognitive impairment up to life expectancy and early death. In order to find where you might score on the ACE pyramid, the Adverse Childhood Experience Pyramid, there is an 18-question questionnaire that would allow you to look at your early life up to age 18 and see where you might have experienced some trauma. Once you score this questionnaire, it will determine your risk level, and it will allow you to know perhaps how you might be impacted.
The definition of resiliency is the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. The important thing to think about is that resiliency can be taught and practiced. In order to teach our children to be resilient, we must first identify and effectively manage our own stress. Like we are told as a safety precaution on an air flight, we must give ourselves oxygen before offering it to our child. We then can help our children develop strategies to effectively manage their own stress. Available to you will be a stress and coping self-test. In answering the 18 questions of this test, you will discover how well you may be coping with stressors over the past month. Some of you will have an idea without answering the questions. Others may be surprised.
Now, certainly some stress is a normal part of daily life, but if it becomes excessive, you may experience tension, anxiety, irritability, and have difficulty sleeping.
Some examples of sources of stress may be work-related, long hours, difficult people to work with, deadlines to make, home stressors such as conflict with children or significant other, financial stress, feeling sad and depressed, major life events like divorce, moving, death of a loved one, and health problems.
As adults, there are ways that we can handle stress. Certainly, we can reduce our stress load. Learning how to say no is often helpful. Developing a good support system. Getting regular moderate exercises. Reminding ourselves not to be too hard on ourselves. Taking care of yourself, for instance, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, eating regular meals, limiting your caffeine and alcohol use. Learning to forgive and forget. Living one day at a time, and certainly getting professional help when needed.
Ways to help our children cope with stress may be, first of all, helping them to develop an awareness of the signs of stress. Is their heart palpitating? Are they starting to sweat? Tighten muscles? The next might be prepare your children for a potentially stressful situation. Knowing ahead might help reduce stress. Avoid overprotecting your children. Try to build your children's self-esteem. Provide support and reassurance, as well as providing an environment with open communication.
To continue, we can look at making sure your children get enough sleep or rest, Certainly modeling appropriate coping skills, helping your children learn relaxation skills, teaching your children to handle criticism, providing proper nutrition, and providing a consistent routine or schedule. Other ways to help is allowing your children to think differently about a stressful situation, reframing their thinking, altering their beliefs about stressful situations if it leads to increased stress. A child who may think that he has to get perfect score may decide that it's okay to make mistakes and we learn from them. Encourage your children to participate in enjoyable activities, getting good exercise, learning to manage time, speaking up for themselves, developing a sense of humor, and also, again, getting professional help if your children have continued difficulty coping with their stress.
I hope that you have found this information valuable. For further discovery of the articles and questionnaires, they will be available to take home located in our school office. There are a number of support staff at our school that help your children build their resiliency through stress reduction activities, skill building, and relationship. We have Mr. McLeod, our parent liaison, Mr. Franciosa, our interventionist specialist, Ms. Savkowski, our school counselor, and Ms. Williams, our interventionist paraprofessional.
Thank you for coming today, Ms. Miller. We really appreciate the valuable contribution that you make to our school, and we love that you are able to come and share all this information. Parents, we urge you, if you have any questions or you need anything from our school, to contact the school office, and stay tuned for our next part 2 of this video on trauma and resiliency, where you will hear directly from Mr. McLeod, Mr. Franciosa, and Ms. Sikowski, as well as Ms. Williams, to learn more about how they offer supports in our school to build resiliency. Thank you.